Hello everyone, this is Tina with Cass's Treasures, and today I've got a couple things going. I got a little mini haul, and I thought we would make a tag. So I have Distress, what is it, Distress Heavyweight tag. Take a look. Yes. Distress Mixed Media Heavy Stock, that's what it's called. I try to figure out all this. So yeah, I pulled a couple of these out, and let's take a look at my mini haul first. Now I have been in here and kind of messing with some of the stuff I have, so it's not all brand new. Like okay, I have Tim Holtz Small Talk, because I thought, you know, I need some stuff just to put on my tags and whatnot. And the clippings, this will kind of work out good for like tags. So if I just want to put something like she winked at me, you know, with a little tiny paper doll or something, soaring like a star. So lots of fun stuff there. I got the Ideology Backdrops Volume 3. So far, I've only got one other volume of this. I think the most recent volume with all the colors. But I thought it might be good to have another one. I bought a couple of the die sets that just came out. What is it? From the Vault. The Vault Boutique. This is Boutique with the doily and the little rose, which I went ahead and cut out the doily. Isn't that cool? Had some, and I kind of used the ink that was on here just to darken that up a little bit so it wasn't so stark white. And then a little rose, and I don't have like the set to make these, so I ended up trying to do it with these tweezers, and I used the little foam pierce pad that I got from Simon. So that was able to work for me to kind of curl the edges. And because I was doing this last night, I didn't pull out my hot glue gun. I just used some fabric fusion glue I had on my desk, and it worked. I was able just to kind of get this little bitty rose. I'm sure with some practice I can get better roses. So that was with this die. And I also got from the Vault, what's this called? This one is called Watch Gears. So it's got all the little gears and the numbers. I only got the 2 of them so far. I would have liked to have gotten a few more, but I really didn't have the funds to get all of the Vault dies. I got some alcohol ink foil tape sheets. This is adhesive, so I thought I'll find something to do with this one. I don't know. That came off of, what is this? Your one-stop shop. It's says. I also got a Clearly Besotted. These are kind of like snarky, laugh out loud sentiments. They're birthday sentiments for the inside of your cards. You know, so many candles, so little cake. You're only young once, but you can be immature for a lifetime. Like a jar of pickles, you're well preserved. So I like kind of snarky stuff for the inside of my cards. Now these two, yeah, I had opened and I was playing with these a little bit. This one I just recently bought, the whole set with the die and the stamp. I have another Tim Holtz die and stamp coming in. His most recent release, I just bought one of his stamp sets. I don't remember off the top of my head which one. Now this stamp set I had in my stash, but I went ahead and I bought the dies for it. So I am thinking when we make our tag, most likely I'm going to be using either the butterflies for these or this on the tag, and we'll cut it out because I want to use the doily on the tag as well. So it's like, I think we will go ahead and use some spray stain, and then I can wrap the doily around it. What did I do with the tags? I've got this. What did I do with the two I had out already? Oh, there they are. So yeah, so we'll just kind of use some spray stain, and then we can put this doily on top of there. Is a white doily. It kind of almost matches this cream color now. So, not sure what we're going to do with this. Look, I have a little gold frame. I could do lots of stuff. Get this out of the way. What I want to do first is figure out what color we want to use. These are my Micas, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use these or if I want to use the color spray stain. Let's see what I have. Now, as far as my actual distress spray stains go, I have some Moss Shadow, Black Soot, a little thing of, oh, these are Mica. I don't know why they're in here. I have some Picket Fence. I have two, I want to say, of the Uncharted Mariner. Yeah, I do. I ended up with two of those. Salvage Patina. Yeah, all of my sprays in here are, I think, are they oxides? No. My Salvage Patina is an oxide. My Uncharted Mariner, both of them, unfortunately, are the stain. I wish one was the oxide. I don't know how I ended up with two of them. And Lumberjack Plaid. And I've got some Resist spray. I don't even know how I end up with some of this stuff. And a small thing of picked raspberry oxide. That's like, yeah, tiny. So, I don't know. I think I am going to use some of this Uncharted Mariner, though. Got two of them. Let's use it. That's such a pretty color. Let's see. If I was smart, I would probably drag my splat box out, but I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and be lazy and try to... Look at that. Ooh. And maybe... Oh, I like that. Like kind of the way that looked. And let's dry that off a bit. Oh, my desk is such a mess. Such a mess. So I finished drying that, and now I'm using some Fallen Acorn mica spray. You know, you got to shake this really good and make sure all the mica's off the sides and the bottom before you spray it. Otherwise, you can get your nozzle clogged, and that would be bad. So I'm just shaking it up here. As you can tell, I started doing a voiceover, and I'm going to attempt to finish this tag with just a voiceover because there was just too much other noise going on in the background as I made this tag. And so I sprayed a little bit of the Fallen Acorn and I dried that. And now I'm going in with some of the Vintage Photo around the edge of the tag. And I'm going to kind of go all over the tag with it. I kind of want it to be grunged up a bit. And I hit all the sides with the Vintage Photo, just making sure I've got it on there really good and nice. And you know, we're going to go in the center of the tag a bit with it, and I'm going to cover up that beautiful Uncharted Mariner, unfortunately, but I'm going to take care of that later on when I'm working on this tag. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to use, and I am pulling in uh, two of the butterflies from the Tim Holtz stamp, and I'm using the travel size Tim Holtz platform, stamping platform, that I happened to buy in the short window it was for sale. I had no idea when I bought it what I was going to do with it, but I was making jewelry at the time, but I just thought it was really neat and I bought it, and I wasn't even really doing cards at the time, so it's just kind of serendipitous that I've got this thing. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to stamp two butterflies. You only see one right now, but trust me, I'm going to bring in another one. See, there it is. And I'm going to get those stamped, and I'm going to use some some ground walnut archival ink, I believe. That's, or ground espresso, ground walnut. Yeah, that's not a thing. Ground espresso. And I'm just going to get that on the butterflies pretty good. I start by kind of tapping it a bit, and it doesn't want to take it right away, so I kind of just squish it in there, and that works. I don't know why, you know. Certain stamps you can tap, or certain inks you can get away with tapping onto a stamp, and other ones you gotta kind of go in there and twist them a little bit to really get the ink to get all over the stamp. And I'm gonna press that down, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use, I don't even know what this thing's called, but it helps you press your stamps into your paper a little bit better. And I'm going to have to ink that one more time, at least the butterfly closest to us. That one did not get enough ink, and so we're going to try one more time. And I figure while I have the platform out, I might as well get both butterflies. I mean, why not, you know? They could both use a little more ink, I suppose. It's not going to hurt anything. And we're going to make sure we get that first butterfly pretty good. And I find I need to put a lot of pressure with the Tim Holtz stamping platform to get a good coverage of ink. I'm going to shut it and just use my hand where the one little wing is. It needs just a little bit more. And I'm like, that'll work. Why not? I'm going to pull those out. And we are going to use my Tim Holtz watercolor pencils to color these in. And I am going to start with the color Uncharted Mariner, because I don't know, I just love that color and I had it at my fingertips, so that's the color I'm going to use on this first butterfly. And I'm going to kind of get some color down, and then I'm going to be bringing in a water pen to spread the color out a little bit more. And it's really easy to get this color down. And the cardstock I'm using is just some standard Nina 110 pound, I believe. It's nothing fancy. It's not watercolor paper or anything like that, because I know we're not going to be using that much water on this cardstock. It really didn't make much difference. If I had a lot of color I was putting down and there wasn't as much ink, then I might think about using watercolor paper. But for this small amount of color, you don't have to worry about any sort of piling or anything with, you know, the pilling up of this paper. I mean, unless you really went to town with that water brush. But just a little bit of pulling out the color, it's fine. And now I want to use a contrasting color. And so I bring in, I think that's the mustard. I know it's two words, but all that's coming to mind is mustard. I'm sure you know what color I'm talking about. And I just kind of get that in the rest of the open spaces. And why can't I remember the name of that ink? Let me think. Mustard seed. I had to go look, so sorry I left you for a second there, but it was driving me crazy. Mustard seed ink. And I'm putting that down, and then I just color that out with the water brush as well. And now I'm going to get that second butterfly. Now, even though this first butterfly with the Uncharted Mariner and the mustard seed is really pretty, I don't end up using that butterfly on my tag. I guess I could give you a spoiler alert, but I don't use it. So I'm going in with, I think that's Wilted Violet. I'm not 100% sure. Or Dusty Concord. Yeah, Dusty Concord more likely. I don't have them in front of me, so I'm trying to remember exactly which colors I used. And that was just for the 4 little eyes that were on this butterfly that I used that. And then I went in with some Salvage Patina. There's no mistaking that color. And I kind of get that all over the place. At least I hope that's Salvage Patina, or I'll look like an idiot. But, looking like an idiot is something I do now and then, but I usually can shake it off and move on and do bigger and better things. So we're just going to pull that out with the water brush, and then I am going to bring in a little bit more of the Dusty Concord on the sides of the butterfly. There's a little bit on the outside edge there. So we'll get that all colored in and get the water brush one more time to pull that out. And these butterflies are done being colored. And I think they're very pretty. I mean, I could see you using a colored ink to stamp these butterflies as well. If you really wanted, like, I could have stamped them in Uncharted Mariner or anything, and it would have been really pretty. And I'm just going to die cut both of these out. I do have the dies that I purchased from Simon Says Stamps. They have the matching dies for some of the Tim Holtz stamp sets now. And it's really, really convenient. It sure beats fussy cutting. I mean, you would think that I have a brother scan and cut. I shouldn't need to fussy cut. But a lot of times, if I only have 1 or 2 items, I don't use it, because it just seems like it's more trouble than it's worth. So anyhow, I'm taking a little bit of the vintage photo that's on this stamp pad, and I'm just going over this butterfly because it's a little, I want to get rid of the white on the edges because the white would be too stark against our tag. So I just kind of go over with whatever is on there. And it makes a big difference, so it's not like all stark white. And I'm just trying to see which way I want to go, what I want to use on this tag, what we're going to do with it. And believe me, this tag ends up totally different at the end than what I thought we were going to do, but that's okay. When you just kind of start playing around, you might not end up where you thought you were going, but where you end up is still okay. And I'm just, what am I going to do? What's it going to look like? And I think I need a little bit more color on this tag. So I pull in a few things that I had off to the side that I had made when I was just playing around. And one of them is just like this slide window. Or it's just actually just a window that I put in a little card. And I've got some mica behind it. And then I've got a ticket that I made and a couple hearts. And I end up bringing in my book of ephemera and trying to figure out what all I want to use on this tag. Now, I know I want the doily, and I do decide that I want that card with the mica, and I think the heart as well. I'm like, why not? That little bit of pink and some other colors just lends a bit. And I do like that blue ticket that's off to the side. I don't even know if that's actually a ticket or what it is, but I stamped that with a separate Tim Holtz stamp set that I had. Off the top of my head, I don't know which one it is. And I pull in a little 50-cent, just a little round, like almost a cigar thing, or I don't know what you call it, and I stick it right up there in the upper right-hand corner because it goes with the other ephemera that we're bringing in. And now I'm just kind of going through this book looking for something else that I could use. And I'm still not sure, but I'm going to use that blue ticket. Just, I think I might have already said that, but it actually, I think, goes well with the Uncharted Mariner that we do have still showing. And I end up finding a little paper doll, one of the mini ones, of a little girl that I am going to glue on top of that heart. And so now is about the time I start gluing things down. And I'm going to start with that ticket, and I unfortunately put the glue on out of camera, you know. But I don't think you needed to see me glue it. We all know how glue goes on the back of things. And so I'm going to glue that right there in that lower right-hand corner. And I'm going to glue the doily right where you saw it was at. And you don't have to hit every single spot of paper when you're putting glue down. Just try to get like the major, I guess for a doily, would you call it the arteries? I don't know. Kind of seems like arteries, but hit your bigger pieces and just kind of get enough glue that you're going to get it to stick all the way around. And it's going to be fine. It'll stick. I don't know, you can probably hear a little bit of background noise. That is my computer's fan, which should not be on, but my laptop's been overheating for some odd reason. I'm going to have to get that looked at because it can come on at inconvenient times like now, and it's just a buzzing or a fan noise in the background that can be kind of annoying. So hopefully it's not bothering you too much. It's probably bothering me more than it's bothering you. But anyway, so I have my little doily glued. I'm going to end up cutting off the edges at some point. And now I am going to glue down the blue and purple butterfly. At least eventually I'm going to glue it down. So yeah, I guess I glued that off frame too. And we're going to put the mica over that eventually. I say eventually because I don't remember exactly what order I glued everything in, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'll get that heart down. That's from the stamp set that Tim released around Valentine's Day. And, you know, so you can see the two hearts there that I had made when I was just messing around making some ephemera one day. And I was just, you know, didn't have anything to do. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I just started making a bunch of ephemera that I could use with tags or in a junk journal or, you know, a glue book. And these were just in a plastic container on my desk when I pulled them out for this tag. I had no idea I was going to use them, but it worked that I had them. So I do end up putting glue on the mica, but because I had the glue on the bottom as well, this little window is not going anywhere. It's going to give it time to dry because the bottom of it's going to adhere to the tag right away. I get that glued down nice and tight. And it is time to bring in some words from my little, my clipping sticker book. Well, I guess I have first, like I said, getting ahead of myself, I brought in this string for the tag. Now, at the end of the day, I end up not liking the baker's twine, and I end up bringing in another ribbon. But first, I do put this baker's twine on, and tie it in a knot, and I think it's okay, but you know, it's one of those things where the more I looked at it, it just seemed a little bit too skinny for this size tag. So even though you get to watch me tie this and tie it in a knot and do all the things with this baker's twine, I guess I could have edited this out because, like I said, at the end of the day, I put a different ribbon on anyway. And I tie it in a knot, and I think it's too long, so I tie it in another knot. See this, I just did lots of things with my tie on my tag. But, you know, like I said, just because you think you're going to do things one way, you can always change your mind and do something else. And then I decide, yeah, that knot, it's just too long of a piece of string, and I retie it. And at the end of the day, none of this matters. But I think it looked a little bit shorter than it did longer. And I've got the clipping sticker book here, and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to say. And I start with my beautiful butterfly, and then I go back in, and it didn't want to stick, so I'm going to have to glue it. I don't know why it didn't stick to that. I don't know if it was the adhesive on the back of the sentiment, or if it was just something I had done when I was inking up the little window tag there. But yes, my beautiful butterfly, it gets glued down with some art glitter glue. And then I go back and I find another sentiment to put under that kind of ties with a little story we're going to try to tell. And the second thing we end up gluing down is just a memory. And we find that and we pull that off. At least I think that's what we found next. Oh, I lied. We found the name. It's Claire, my beautiful butterfly. And then the next thing I put down is just a memory right here. And then I find one more sentiment that says in her heart. So it's Claire, my beautiful butterfly, just a memory in her heart, which is kind of melancholy, but I don't know. Sometimes, you know, I think melancholy can be deep. And so right here, I decide I want a little bit more blue on this card. So even though it's kind of grungy, I'm going to go in with a little bit more Uncharted Mariner right around the sides of this card. Now, it's not going to take away from the grunge, but it is going to give a little bit more color than just the vintage photo gives us. You know, so like I said, don't be afraid to try different things and take something, whether it be a card or a tag or whatever you're working on, in a different direction than what you've started. You know, sometimes it amazes me that I end up in a totally different place. It's like, huh, this isn't what I thought I was making, but I like it. And sometimes it takes me a while to like something that I made because it's totally different than what I thought I wanted. But the more I think about it or look at something, I'm like, yeah, that grows on me. And I think with this tag in particular, the thing that it needed after all this was just a different ribbon on top. I think it looks a lot better when I change out that baker's twine. And so here I am just putting a blue ribbon on my tag. I think that's some ribbon from Stamps of Life. And we're going to thread that through and pull it tight. And I'm going to end up cutting this down just a little bit. I think it needs to be just a tad shorter, but I like the direction each of those tails is going in. So I'm going to keep it like that and just cut off a little, like a half an inch off of each side. We're not going to make it a whole lot shorter, but that's it for this tag, and I do like the way it ended up turning out. And so I hope if you enjoyed this, you give it a thumbs up. That helps me a whole lot. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love to have you. If you are a subscriber, thank you and welcome back again. So anyway, that was my tag, and bye-bye for now, everyone. See you next time.